I'm Kevin, I'm from Queensland and I'm here to help. His name's Peter, he's from Queensland and he's here to help as well. We're delighted to have this opportunity to bring to you all our new candidate for the seat of Forde. Peter Beattie, of course, is one of the great sons of Queensland, and he is, whatever your politics, people know who Peter is, know what he stands for, and he is Roll Gold Queensland. He has been Premier of this state for more than 9 years. He has a knowledge of this state second to none. From memory, I think you were born in far north Queensland, up in Atherton, right? Up in that part of the world where you grew up. Grew up there. Of course, he's been around this state a whole lot of times. When it comes to big things like jobs and employment, so central to this national election campaign, Peter's record is strong. If you looked at the period that he was in office as Premier of Queensland, he was setting a target to bring unemployment down to 5% in Queensland. A lot of people ridiculed him at the time and thought it was just not doable. When he came to office as Premier, the unemployment rate in Queensland back then was 8.5%. When he left office in 2007, the unemployment rate was 3.8%. Now, this is a Premier who knows what it is to make sure that jobs are absolutely central to the task of economic management. And he's done that through strong investments in the state's infrastructure, strong investments in health and strong investments in education. He has a proud record of investment in our schools and our hospitals. Peter Beattie stands in stark contrast to the bloke who's currently running Queensland, who has had one core agenda, which is simply to slash and burn basic services in health, education, and also with a big impact on jobs as well. Of course, those of you who have already been here for a bit and have been around Queensland for a while will know that occasionally Peter and I have had the odd stoush in the past. That's okay. That's life in the Labor Party. You'll all have been handed, I'm sure, sheets from the Liberal Party quoting Peter saying one thing or another about me in the past. Guess what? For me, it's water off a duck's back. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is standing up for the great state of Queensland and standing up for the good people of this region covered by the federal electorate of Forde. What unites us as a team are our core and continuing values, a strong economy and a fair go for all. That's what Peter's on about, that's what Heather's on about, that's what I'm on about. And that's what all of us who love this part of Australia so well believe in as well. I'd also like today to pay tribute to Des Hardman and the campaign team that he's built up here in the seat of Forde. Des's hard work as the previous candidate and his commitment to working people and the Labor cause is admirable. Standing down to make room for Peter Beattie has been a hard decision for him and demonstration of his true Labor values. And the reason for that is he wants us, that is the Australian Labor government, to win in Queensland, win in Forde and win nationally.
Canoobia is one of the important suburbs in Forde. Heather and I moved into that suburb this morning. My brother has lived in Canoobia for now 22 years, and I've been close to my brother for a long period of time. I've moved into his house, he's currently away. If I'm fortunate enough to be elected as the member for Forde, I will be buying and moving into the electorate immediately. I have form when it comes to living in the electorate. When I first got elected to Parliament, I was in my seat in Brisbane. A redistribution took me out. We sold our house and moved into the electorate. I believe in being part of the electorate, and I've demonstrated that earlier today, and I will demonstrate that if I'm fortunate enough to be elected as the member for Forde. This is all about balance. One of the real concerns I have, and one of the reasons I'm running, is I want to see Queensland get a fair go. The Labor Party has 7 seats in the state parliament. We have 8 seats in the federal parliament. That's simply not fair. And everybody knows that if you don't have balance in politics, there's no one to keep the bastards honest. And that's the concern. If Tony Abbott wins this federal election, we'll have wall-to-wall LNP from one end of Queensland to the other. That's just not fair, and it's just not good for Queensland. And that's the reason, one of the key reasons, it's not the only one, it's one of the reasons that I decided to run when the Prime Minister invited me to, and I thank the Prime Minister for that opportunity. I was about doing the right thing by Queensland. And I look forward, if I'm fortunate enough to get elected as the member for Forde, working with you, Mayor. I've been aware I've been aware of your long involvement in council here, and I'm delighted to see this project going ahead today, which is an indication of the Labor Party's commitment. I'm looking forward to being an energetic voice in Canberra for Forde and being a pain in the neck when it comes to standing up for Queensland. I've always stood up for Queensland, I always will, and that's the reason why I accepted the Prime Minister's invitation.